Hi, and thanks for joining me again on my channel. My name's Carl and this is my monthly Q&A question and answer time. So let's get into today's video. Let's answer all your questions that you've submitted through YouTube about affiliate marketing. So if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I do a monthly Q&A. I also do a monthly income report. And in between that, I do lots of videos about affiliate marketing and my personal journey towards a full-time passive income. I'll answer as many questions as I can. I always do. If you submit them within YouTube, I'll try and answer them there and then as soon as you submit them. I do get asked quite a lot of questions now as my channel's growing, and I do try and get round to answering all of them. But if I miss them, I will try and get round to them in the monthly Q&A as well. But for now, let's get into the questions you submitted on YouTube this month. So let's get into this. The first question I've got is from John Zorro, and he said, if you publish an article and in 2 days it's already at #1, would you get more traffic in future, e.g. from ranking or related keywords, or would that be it? That's the position you're already at #1. Well, that's certainly the #1 spot. You can't get any better on Google index search for that one keyword. But quite rightly, as you said, you will then get secondary related keywords that will also bring in extra traffic. In fact, longer tail keywords are often what brings in you more traffic. For instance, if you had an article that was about ice cream and your keyword was just simply ice cream and you had #1 for that, that might have 1 million searches a month. So you're going to get a good majority of that searches, possibly 100,000, 200,000 visits a month to your website. However, if that picked up secondary keywords like best chocolate ice cream or best strawberry ice cream or how to make ice cream, all those other related secondary keywords could actually total a lot more than 1 million searches a month and would probably bring you in more like 400,000 or 500,000 searches a month. So long tail keywords often bring in as a collective more than the individual keyword itself. So the next question we've got is from Devon, and Devon says, hi, my question is about website tags. Do you figure out the sections within your website before you publish a website so it doesn't mess with your URLs or your silos or your structure? Yes, absolutely. I do structure and figure out my tabs and subsections and categories beforehand. It's really important, particularly if you're doing related posts. So let's say you've got a post on goldfish and you have lots of subcategories. If you have the correct tagging, then it's a lot easier to pull up those subcategories within like the related post widgets, for example. So it is always best to figure it out. Whenever I start a new website, I always figure out my menus, my subcategories, my tagging, and I form the structure of it before I start any website. It's much easier to do that than do it halfway through when you've got a couple of 100 articles on there. It becomes a nightmare then trying to sort all that out. So the next question I've got is from Ivan Boychuk, and he says, what's your process for hiring and training writers for your site? Where do you look for good writers? How do you choose writers that have got industry specific knowledge, and how do you pay for them? Well, over the years now of doing it, I've slowly built a small team of writers which work exclusively for me. But if you're first starting out, you need to find a writer. The best place is Upwork. Now, the reason I say Upwork is because that you can actually advertise for writers within that specific niche. So if your niche is building or construction, then you can advertise blog writer wanted with experience within the building and construction sector or topic, and that way you can then ask for proof of content that they've written within that niche. So I would then say, please show me some examples on the writing that you've done for builders or within the building and construction sector, and there's no way they can fake that. I mean, if they can't come up with it, then they're lying. They've not done any or blogs within that sector or had an experience in that sector. So if they have, they should be able to prove that and send you some examples, and then you know you're working with somebody who's very niche specific. So the next question is from Ashwin Joy, And the question is, what are your thoughts on blog comments? Do you turn them off on your website? And is there any SEO advantages enabling comments? Personally, I've turned comments off on my website. I think there used to be some value in that a few years ago, but I don't think it's relevant in 2020. So I've turned it off. It's a gateway for spam. It's a gateway for site hacks, and it's just more value than it's worth. When you actually do search other people's content and you're looking at maybe blog length, then don't forget Google and all these SEO tools do take into consideration those comments. So I've seen an articles that are scanning at 4,000 words long, but when you look, their content's only 500 words, but it's 3,500 words of comments. So it makes the blog look longer. Now, is Google going to see that and think that's a really long article and that will rank it better for that? Possibly. I'm not an absolute expert on SEO like that, but as far as my websites, I've turned the comments off, and personally, I don't do any commenting, so I don't go to other people's websites and comment and leave my link. That's old-fashioned, old-dated. I just don't do that sort of thing anymore. So no, I've switched them off across all my websites. And the next question is from Andy Woolley, and he says, I'm thoroughly enjoying your journey and transparency. Thank you very much, Andy. Building out an affiliate site at the moment and wondering what's your thoughts on siloing, relevant or not, and your thoughts on GMB page to boost a website authority. That's Google My Business. I wasn't even sure what that was myself. So what's your thoughts on it? Well, yeah, I mean, there is certainly some benefits, especially if you're a local website, building out a Google business page, and certainly that will increase your authority without a shadow of a doubt. Whether you need to do that for a global website, a more broader niche like, cats and dogs, would it build any authority? I don't think it would, no. I wouldn't consider doing that myself. Siloing and structured posts and pillared posts, things like that. Yeah, there certainly is some benefits from that. However, I've not had a massive success with it. So it's not something I do anymore. I just go for individual posts. And I don't really do the silo effect or process, whatever you want to call it. I don't personally do it, but I know other people who've had success with it. So it may be niche relevant, and it may be that it works better on some niches than others. And the next question we've got is from Tigger Gamer, and he asks, it's 30 days since I created my website, but I don't see any kind of traffic, 19 users last 30 days. Is that normal, or is that something I should be worried about? It's absolutely normal. I mean, your first 6 months of your website, you're lucky if you're getting 1 or 2 visitors a day, certainly for the first 3 months. After that, in kind of months 4 and 5, I would expect to see kind of 5 to 10 visitors a day. And obviously this is relevant, depends how many posts you're putting on. If you've launched a website with 100 articles on, then that hopefully would be a lot more. But going on a general niche website that's adding 1 or 2 blogs a week maximum, then I would expect first 3 months to see very, very little. Month 4, month 5, you might get up to 5-10 visitors a day, and then from month 5 and month 6, when you start coming out of that Google sandbox, that's when you'll see that increment, that steady climb, that hockey stick effect, and traffic will suddenly shoot up. Month 6, month 7, I presume you've got 30-40 blogs on there by now. You should start seeing a substantial amount each day, sort of 30-40 visitors a day to your site, and it should just grow exponentially from there. So no, don't worry, it's perfectly normal. Sounds like you're doing all the right things. And the next question, got another one from Ivan Boychuk here, and he says, I'm just curious, on a larger site, this is from one of my this is a comment on my Mega website video, the one I did telling you all about my plans to create a huge website. And I'm just curious, on a larger site, are you planning to establish a writer profile for each writer to establish EAT? That's the authority that Google looks at. Or will everything be published under a blanket corporate name? No, each writer will either publish under their name or a name. It could be an alias name, but yes, they will have a name. It won't just be, let's say, Pet World. It won't be published by Pet World or anything like that. It will be each individual writer's name. Same if I produce any content, it goes under my own name. Certainly all the profiles will be built on the About page, and that will link their authority back to the articles and the about page. So yes, each writer will have their own profile. And we have another question here from Leslie Mack, and Leslie was asking about embedding videos. I did a video recently about how I earn good advertising revenue from videos that are on my website, and she was asking, do you embed them on YouTube directly on the website? So just to clarify that, I'm with Mediavine, and I have some videos that play on each and every page on that website, and Mediavine will then add an advertisement over that video or on top of the video for about 5 seconds, and for that you earn an advertising revenue. So these videos can be your YouTube videos if you've got any. You can get them to embed straight onto your website, and Mediavine will overlay it with ads. Or you can just create a video yourself, a 30-40 second video, upload it to Mediavine's dashboard, so it's hosted with Mediavine, and they will insert that onto your articles and your content, and you'll earn some more advertising revenue on there. So you don't have to have a YouTube channel, you don't have to make YouTube videos, you can just get somebody to create a 30-second video. Let's say for instance your website's about football, you could get a 30-second video all about what football is and is it a good sport, and that would then show up on that page, and they will sell that advertising space to a buyer, and you'll earn more advertising revenue for doing that. So you don't have to have your own YouTube channel or anything like that, but if you have, and you've got 30, 40, 50 YouTube videos, then it's really easy and it's really quick. You can just use them videos on your website. You can't use anybody else's, so you can't embed somebody else's video onto your website and expect to earn advertising revenue off their hard work. It just doesn't work like that. And this next question is from J5. This was taken from a video I produced where I deleted my SEO plugin. I was with Rank Math, and I deleted it from one of my websites to test and see what the results are. And actually, to give you an update on that, the results have been absolutely fine. I've seen no decrease in traffic. I haven't seen a huge spike in traffic, but it's still climbing at the rate it was without an SEO plugin. I'm getting better meta descriptions because Google is now picking through my content and choosing a meta description that suits the viewer. So for instance, if you was on a dog website and you had a certain type of breed that Google knew you was looking through your search history, then it might pick out words to form a better meta description that suits that viewer. So it would put a better meta description on your piece of content that suits that viewer for that breed of dog. So it's certainly worth considering if you're running SEO plugins, whether you actually need them or not. I'm not going to tell you you should or you shouldn't. I've deleted it and I've seen no major effects, no negative effects, and like I say, in fact, traffic is still climbing. I'm seeing better meta descriptions, and I've less security risks, and I've got a faster website. So at the minute, fingers crossed, deleting my SEO plugin looks like it was a sensible idea. So the question from J5 was, I've always heard that less plugins are better. I'm still running Yoast, but not yet been doing any SEO really. And when I get more experience with SEO, I'm considering losing my SEO plugin. Like, do you recommend that? Well, like I say, yes. You know, I certainly wouldn't say delete your SEO plugins now. They have some benefits, certainly like the schema markup. If you got products, you're a local business, and you do a lot of product reviews, then Rank Math is very good for doing the schema markup, and also for doing auto redirects. So if you change your URL, it will automatically pick that up and it'll form a redirect automatically for you. You don't have to manually do that. So I do miss that with the plugins. I do often mess around with my articles, trying to update them and changing the titles and the URLs. So that automatic redirect was a big benefit of Rank Math. So I don't suggest you delete all your plugins just yet, J5, but certainly as you get better with SEO and get more confident, then it might be something you consider. Then hopefully you can monitor it and see if there's any better or negative effects doing so. And this next question is from Sheikh, and he says, which social share plugins do you use? I'm looking for a lightweight plugin to share some simple SEO links. I don't use them. I don't use any social media sharing buttons. I used to have, you know, the boxes that went across saying Facebook, Pinterest. I just don't use them anymore. Again, it was another plugin that slowed the website down. Who really these days, think about the last time you read an article and thought to yourself, oh, that was amazing, I'm going to share that on Facebook right now. When's the last time you did that? You read it, you like it, you go off, done. Nobody shares it. I mean, you know, I see some of these plugins that show this post has had 500 shares. Yeah, probably because they ran a Facebook advertising campaign on that, and that registers as a share. So sometimes it looks like these plugins are getting amazing results, and they're not. It's because they're running paid advertising campaigns, and those plugins are picking up on it. So I don't use them. They slow your website down. You don't get any extra traffic from it. Just keep your websites clean and simple. And this question is from Bert D5, and he says, great video on your mega website, Carl. What's the plans going forward for monetization? i.e., are you going to do buyer intent posts, or is it all information posts? So that's a really good question. It's going to start off with information posts. Certainly that's going to be the bulk. 90% of the content, certainly in the first year, is going to be information, and then we will add some buyer intent to link to each article in year 2, possibly month 9 or 10 if I get ahead of schedule, but knowing me and all the things I'm doing, I probably won't get ahead of schedule. And yes, we will have buyer intent, but it's not going to be a big part of the website. It will bring in a lot of revenue because hopefully by then we've got some huge page views and traffic, and the only affiliate products we're going to link to are going to be very high value ticket items, so the commissions will be better, so we need less sales to earn more money. Courses that pay you 70-80% commission, products that are in the $700-$900 bracket. So the products and the reviews that we link to are all going to be high ticket items, going after less sales but higher earnings. And here's a question from Tom B. This was taken from a video that I produced about service businesses and service niche and service industry, and how you need very little traffic to make really good money on that kind of lead gen businesses and offering a service. So Tom's question on that was, are you getting sales from your keyword site, so that's keywordcare.com, or are these actual search engine traffic? Because I know it's very difficult, especially from the information, the articles that you've got on there, to get organic search traffic in that kind of niche, in that kind of sector. So yes, a really good question, Tom. You're right, the majority of the sales and the traffic comes from word of mouth, reputation, repeat business, but that's how it does in the service industry. You tend to find that service industries don't rank very well. It's so competitive. Can you imagine me trying to rank best keyword research business? It's just, you know, it's going to be so hard and difficult to do. But you can create a brand, a social media presence, a reputation within your service or industry, and that's how you can get repeat business and get more business that's actually more profitable, because you haven't had to spend a lot of time and money trying to rank your website or your articles. Word of mouth is free, and word of mouth is the best kind of business you can get, because you've already got that trust and that loyalty. So yeah, you're right, I do get some organic traffic to that. There's that site, I think there's a dozen or so, 15 articles, and it does bring in some organic traffic, but not a lot. But the majority of it comes from my YouTube channel, my interaction on social media, and the reputation I've built up within this industry. There's another question on that same video here from Umar Farouk, and Umar says, I was wondering what type of content and keywords should I target when it's a service website? Well, it really depends on your service, whether it's a local service you're offering or whether it's a global service you're offering. Is it a lead gen? Is it an online service? Is it an info product? So there's a lot that I'd have to know to actually really answer that in detail for you. I'm quite happy to give you a little bit of advice. Go over to keywordcare.com, fire an email off to me, tell me a little bit more about your service that you offer, and let's see if I can help you on that. And the last one for today, we'll answer this. This one's from Tom Graves, and Tom says, I see you mentioned Income School in your recent video. Are you still following their practices and their method, and are you still in touch with them? Yes, still do follow their practices and their methods. Some of them I don't. So the ones I really follow is their snippets and how to optimize and go after snippets. Snippets are a really good thing to try and get, because Google will rank you at position 0 or number 1 with a good snippet. So you might not rank for your content very well, but if it pulls out the snippet, it will rank you above all that other content just because you've won the snippet. So I do optimize and go after the snippets. It's a really good way of jumping the queue. But some of their practices I don't. So they say, right at the very beginning of their course, they have updated their course a few times, but right at the beginning they did say that, you know, they wanted you to publish around 30 articles, 10 response, 10 staple, 10 pillar post articles, and kind of leave it. That's where you are. I don't follow that practice anymore. I believe you need a lot more content than that to get a website off the ground, but the majority of their information I still do follow. I'm still in contact with Ricky and Jim, not very often, but I do fire emails back and forwards to each other, and they do answer me, and I'm seeing a lot of success from the information that they gave me when they did visit my home for a couple of days. So yeah, I am still in touch with them, and I do still follow their process. Okay, so that's it for this month. Please get your questions into me for next month. I will post a Q&A video, just a short 1-minute video asking for your questions. Feel free then to fill up the comments with all your questions. It's much easier for me if you all leave your comments in the same place, and then I can just read through them and hopefully not miss any of your questions. So I'm really sorry if I have missed any. I'm just about to go on vacation. I've got all my bags packed in front of me, but I wanted to get this Q&A video out before I left. I hate going away or being unable to answer your questions. I do try and answer as many as I can, and I hope my answers are helpful for you. I'm not an expert in every topic, and if I don't know the answer, I will be honest and say I don't. Otherwise, I'll just share my experience with you and hope it helps you out. So thanks for joining me, guys. Lots of content coming out. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I've got a load of content scheduled for while I'm away on holiday, and you won't miss out. There's plenty of content coming, so I'll see you when I get back, and I'll see you in the next video.